Epistasis is a phenomena where alleles at one gene locus can hide or prevent the expression of alleles which are present on another gene locus. The best example for the epistasis is Labrador dogs. In case of these dogs, there is a gene that can hide the expression of the coat color if that gene is present in a homozygous form. If we take the example of these dogs, there is a dominant allele that is represented by B. If there is this allele, the fur color will be black, while if the alternative allele of this gene that is recessive, if that allele is present, then the color of the coat of the dogs will be brown. But there is a second gene. If that gene is homozygous form, then that gene have the effect on the expression of the first genes. Like if the second gene, if that gene is in homozygous form, then the coat color of the dogs will be yellow. Whatever will be the allele at gene number 1, whether gene number 1 has dominant allele or gene number 1 has recessive allele. If the second gene that is homozygous, the color of the dogs that will be yellow. Epistasis in dog's fur. There are two genes. One gene is in the recessive form, that is E, and second gene is either in a dominant form, that can be dominant, and that can be recessive. If there is a single gene expression, like if that gene is dominant, the fur of the dogs will be black, and if that gene is recessive, then the fur of the dogs that will be brown. While on the other hand, there is another gene. If that gene is homozygous condition, the fur of the dogs will be yellow. Either the expression of the first gene, either that gene is in the form of dominance or that gene is in the form of recessiveness. It means the second gene is going to affect on the expression of the first gene. If there is only first gene, then the fur of the dogs will be either black or it will be brown. But if there is a second gene, but that gene is in homozygous form, in homozygous recessive form, then the fur of the dogs that will be yellow. Epistasis can also be seen in horses. The coloration of the horses are due to two or more than two genes. If there are alleles EE or capital E and small e, mean they are homozygous or they are heterozygous for one of the allele, then the color of the horses will be black. But if the allele is in a recessive form, it is not in a dominant form, then the color of the horses will be red. But there are many genes which have additive effect between these two extremes. On one hand, the black color, and on the other hand, a red color. Those genes, they have additive effect on the coloration of the horses. Those genes, they have epigenetic effects on the first gene pair. Like here we can see all the genotypes which are responsible for the coloration in the horses. Bay is as AA and EE, black with agouti gene, and like Buxin, then Dun, then Palomino, these are all different coloration in the horses. Here we can see all the coloration of the horses: black, dark bay, then light bay. Then there are different dun type of horses, and there are some completely albino type of horses. So all these coloration in the skin of the horses or in the fur of the horses is due to the epistasis phenomena. Conclusion. Then what is epistasis? Epistasis is a phenomena where the effect of one gene pair can be masked or can be changed due to the effect of another gene pair. So this phenomena is called as epistasis.